Hello, and welcome to another Friday live where we're going to be delving deeper into some no-code conversational AI with Juji. If you're in here and you can hear me, I know there's about a 20-second delay between me talking and you seeing it, but if you're here, if you can just comment and I'll see it in the comment section here on the dashboard. I just need to make sure that at least somebody can hear me and see me okay. Today we are going to be looking at kind of following on from a previous live we did a couple of weeks ago about making a recruitment type chatbot more personable. Hi Martin, first one in, brilliant. I can always count on you. I really appreciate it. Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Any issues? And this was actually, it was Martin who kind of triggered this one, because at the end of the last demo, he said, yeah, loved everything they did. But what about the person who's doing the recruiting or the hiring manager? How can it make their lives easier? Sean, thank you. Really appreciate that feedback. So Mike was asking, how can it help the recruiter or the hiring manager? You know, where's the usefulness of it for them? So that's what we're going to focus on today. Rona, thanks for dropping in. Really appreciate it. So really what this demo will show is how we can help the applicants better understand their own strengths and their fit for the job. And I really love the way Juji does this as well. I think it has to be used cleverly, but the data that it provides back to the applicant is really beautiful along those 5 personality traits. And the big thing that Martin was asking for is how can we help recruiters, hiring managers better and quickly find the right candidates based on their personality and interests. So it's likely before you start this recruitment process using conversational AI, you will have a good idea of the kind of personality that you're looking for. So, for instance, if you're hiring an IT techie, it's going to have a very, very different personality profile to, say, somebody who's working frontline customer service or like a coder. Their personalities are immensely different. And personality is important. I know everybody's trying to flatten us all out and say we're all the same, but personalities do vary a lot. So what I'm going to do is I've actually created a chatbot and I've put 4 or 5 people through it because I wanted to have some useful data for you, but I'm still going to take you through it. So let's flick across and you can see here I'm in Juji, and you can hopefully see that I've been doing a lot of building. So been doing a lot of testing, really understanding the Juji platform and how it works. A couple of things I've picked up from it is it's quick, as in the process of building is quick. You know, 4 or 5 years ago, building a chatbot was a real chore, and I've used probably 30, 40 platforms now. But Juji is amongst the quickest to build on. It does help that they've got a lot of templates to give you a starting point. But even then, if you're starting fresh, the ability to build really quickly and the ability for someone who's non-technical to build. Like everything, you can build something quick, and then when you want to get a bit more technical, you need to dive in behind the scenes. But Juji is it's probably been the quickest system for me to learn so far. And I think for non-technical teams and a no-code platform, that's what you need. So this is the one I've pre-built. And that's the one we're going to go in and have a look at the data after. But I think you'll want to see it built. It just gets my notes, make sure I don't miss anything. So if you've not seen this before, you can import a chatbot using this button, or you can add one here. So we're going to add one. And then you get, at the moment, 2 options, Facebook Messenger or the website. We're going website, and we're going to use a template. If you've got any questions, don't forget to ask them in the comments. Every so often, I'll flip back and have a look. So we're going to use a HR template, and you can see there's quite a lot going on here. We've got basic job interviews, job interview for a skilled worker, HR assistant, employee onboarding. I'm talking a lot at the moment about employee onboarding using conversational AI. I think people are massively underestimating the power of it. HR assistant employee check-in, HR assistant employee FAQs, compliance assistant, basic, and the more obviously advanced version. With any of these, which I really love what Juji have done here, is you get a little bit of text to give you an idea. You can actually view an example of it. But we're going to use this second one here, job interview skilled worker. Use this template to create an AI assistant chatbot to interview a job candidate as a skilled worker, for example, mechanic driver, with 6 questions. Customize it to suit your hiring situation. So this is what I mean about the really useful templates is I wouldn't have to learn how to create this from fresh. I could literally create using this template and then add and remove questions and edit them as I see fit, which I think is brilliant. So I'm going to hit create. If I wanted to at this stage, I could hit to preview or go in. What we're going to do now is customize the chatbot. Obviously, if it's like the first time you're ever going in to use one of the templates, then you go preview. But I've probably been through most of the templates now. Automatically creates. If I wanted to, I can change the name of my AI assistant here, and I can select one of these or put a custom image. Again, it's not hidden away. It's there. It's ready to go. Really, really like that. What I'm also going to do with this one is I'm just going to change the settings, and I'm going to change this to 50 words. I think that's where I do it. So go back into design, into main chat flow. So these are all the cards that are pre-put in there. What I'm going to do is going to just check in here in the settings. So where it says, can you introduce yourself? There we go. In order to get enough information from the applicant to be able to formulate a picture of their personality, you're going to need quite a bit of input. So at the moment, you can see it's defaulting here to minimum user input is 5 words. And we're just going to make that 50. And on this question, this next card, T18, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the settings of that one, and we're going to do the same. So it defaults to 5, but we need for the personality stuff, we need 50 minimum. Obviously, the more they write, the better you're going to be able to infer their personality. So what I'll do is I'll just go in and preview it just to make sure it works. So this is obviously a template. I've not really done any conversational design with it, but you can see Alberta. Hello, Jim. Thanks for applying for a position, for our position. You would normally just kind of name that position. I'm your AI interviewer. I'll ask you a few questions to get a better understanding of your qualifications for this position. In our interview, just be yourself and give your honest answers. I really like that bit. After reviewing the interview and your application, our HR department will contact you. So any of you in conversational designers, you're probably picking that apart straight away, how you would do it. Obviously, you would have done some work with the brand to understand the persona and the type of wording you use and the kind of copy. So going to hit more. So there's like a trigger question there to ask, trigger question here to ask if you want to get started. And we're going to put, yes, let's do it. Sorry, I do type quite hard. So first thing first, I'd love to get to know you a bit. Could you introduce yourself in 2 to 3 sentences? For example, what you are like and what are your hobbies? So the 2 to 3 sentence things, I think, is a better way of wording it rather than saying in a minimum of 50 words, which is what we put in the background. So to help with this, I'm just going to use some pre-written text. Otherwise, we'll be here all day as I type. So I've added some text, and you might be able to pick out what the kind of second guess what the personality might be from the word. So within this, I'm a typical introvert and would like to keep things and would like to keep things to myself. I hate to interact with people. I'm not going to be great in customer service. I don't want to talk to people if I don't need to. In my ideal job, I get a list of problems or issues, complete that list every day, and be done working by 5. I don't want to take customer problems home with me. I'm already thinking kind of like first line IT support might be ideal. So Alberta comes back, reassures them, got it, thank you for your valuable input. And then they come back with, life is not just about work. I'm curious, what do you enjoy outside of work? So go back to the pre-written text I've done. Back to the demo. Paste it in. So within that text, I like to play computer games. I like to play computer games on my laptop whenever I have time. I especially like action or shooting games, and I'm an expert at these games. I play online mostly by myself. Kind of fits with what they said before about their kind of work. I like single-player games more than multiplayer games. If I have time, I'd like to play games every day. And then Alberta comes back. If I understand you correctly, you love intellectual simulation. We'll make great friends. That kind of building rapport. And then work carries on. So this first bit is about getting enough data to infer personality, and then it's going to carry on the conversation, getting all of the facts and figures that they need for the application. So I hope that makes sense. Let me just flick back and see if there's any questions. Oh, there's no screen share. Okay, let me try again. Right, adding it in. I know why. It's because it went to a different browser. Bear with me. Okay. You kind of heard me talking through it, but I'll just show you where I started and then go back into the AI helper so you can see. So to create a new chatbot, you just click on the plus, select where you're going to do it, and then go and find the template, which is what I said earlier. So we'll just abandon that. And then this is the one that I've created. So as I said, I went through in this one here, which is, can you introduce yourself? All I did is make sure that the minimum user input here is 50 because we need a minimum amount of data. And exactly the same here when they asked about the hobbies. Again, minimum 50. The more they write, the better data you're going to get. And then you can just go in and preview it. And as I said, I just place that text in there. I'm just going to put the LinkedIn on my other device here, just so I can see that the screen is shared. Ah, that's more like it. I can see it now. Sorry about that. So going in, I'll redo this bit again so you can see it actually. So I'm ready to get started. Just type yes. And it wants to know a few things about me. So I'm just going to take some data I've got here. Here we go. So rather than type it in, I'm just going to copy and paste it in. As again, it's kind of the personality details there is someone that likes to work alone. And then it's asking about hobbies. Take the text. This will be your customer writing about themselves. Sorry, your applicant writing about themselves, obviously. Thanks for qualifying. You can see the screen. I really appreciate that. So she's gone through. She's acknowledged that I've given enough information, gone through. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to flick back to the one I've already done. which is here, just because I've put more data through this. And you can see it's exactly the same chatbot. If I previewed it, it'd be exactly the same. And what I'm actually going to do for you guys is I'm going to get the deploy link and post it into the chat. It should appear. If you want to, you can actually put some data in about yourselves, and that'll actually fill up the report inside of it. You don't have to, but it's available there if you want to. So I'm back in now. And if I go to the reporting section, so remember, we've had all these conversations where we've put these 4 people through, and within the reports, anybody that knows me is I've got a big issue with reporting in chatbots. There seems to be a lot of fluff, like unimportant data that's put into dashboards. Juji takes a really different approach, and I really like it. So it's quite visual. I like the fact that, it feels quite personable. And we can see there's been a total of 4 chats. There we go. Average engagement time. We can see locations and data. Traffic by time of day. If I wanted to, I could go region and city. Just the kind of basic stuff. But this is where the real power is, I think, is you can see Mark, Matt, Cynthia, and Emma have gone through. You can see their location. You can see when they did it at the time. You could search. There's lots of really interesting bits that you can filter in here. And if I come down here, I just need to click on one of these. If I come down to here, which is personality traits. So remember, we talked about the big 5, which is openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And also, we've got another section here, which is kind of around the person, individual, their kind of risk factors and ideal fit. This data is just loading. It'll come in a second. Okay, there we go. So for those of you that were not part of this before, I'll just explain the big 5 and show you how that data has worked. So we can see here under openness, it's actually added Emma, Cynthia, Matt, and Mark with all of their scores. You can see Cynthia is well ahead in terms of openness. When we look at conscientiousness, they're all pretty similar. So again, depending on what the hiring manager, the recruiter is looking for, that might be important. We can see Emma is really high on extroversion. Depending on the role, that could be really powerful. Agreeableness, we can see Matt scored really low on this. So that could be an interesting aspect for the role. And neuroticism, we can see that Cynthia scored quite high on that. With all of these personality traits, we could actually dive in deeper. So for instance, on openness, we could go into view all the facets of openness, and it'll have imagination, artistic interest, feelings, adventurousness, intellectual curiosity, liberalism. If you didn't know, you can actually sign up for a free account on Juji, and you could put your own data through and have a look at this. It's some fascinating data that it gives you. So if I come back up, so if I wanted to, then we're going to look at the work profile generic stuff, which is the stuff I think it's really important for the recruiter or the hiring manager. So we haven't got a lot of data because we've only put 4 people through. But what we do get is this summary of fit and risk. So it's an aggregated view showing the distribution of the people that went through the conversation by their profile fit and risk factor scores. The upper right quadrant includes those who have a high fit and a low risk. So let's just kind of dive into this a little bit. So up the side here, we've got ideal fit and then we've got risk factor. So risk factor actually starts from this end coming backwards. So your ideal candidate is sitting in high fit, low risk, which is this top right quadrant. So if we hover in there, Cynthia comes out straight away. So what's that telling your hiring manager, the recruitment team, is that Cynthia's there. You know, if we'd had 50 people go through, you'd have a good cohort of people, hopefully, in that top right-hand column. And that'd be really, really useful data. So they're the people you're going to interview straight away. Next, we've got high fit, high risk. So I would say, you know, you don't exclude these other quadrants. All depends on what you're looking for and how you want to augment that team. So if we look here, Mark actually fits into the high fit, high risk quadrant. So we could still be up there, you know, up for an interview, but it's going to depend on the team and what they're looking for. And again, here we've got Emma, who falls into low fit, low risk. And then we've got Matt that falls into low fit, high risk. Really useful data. So Matt's kind of the riskier one. And then we've got Cynthia is probably the most important. And if you wanted to dive detailed into those, you've got all the facets again. So if I view these sorted, ideal fit or risk factor, and you'll notice the facets for ideal fit are empathy, communication, resourcefulness, and conscientiousness. And if I want to do it, I can just click in and dive deeper into those. And the facets for risk factor are carelessness, uncooperativeness, emotional vulnerability, and indifference. And again, we can dive into those if we want to. So that's the bit I think is really important for your hiring manager, your team that are doing the recruiting, is that you can very quickly identify the candidates you want to interview, like the primaries, that A team as it might be, and then you can augment with the people that fall into the other quadrants. So there you go. That's how you can use it in that kind of that recruitment setting. I also thought that this kind of thing would work really well in like an educational setting. So, for example, if people were applying for a certain course, engineering or, I don't know, biology or whatever, there's going to be certain traits, personality traits, and then obviously some work profile information that's going to be really ideal for this. I'll let you guys think about that. So I'm just going to come back into StreamYard. I'm going to remove that and answer some questions. So sorry about the hiccup at the beginning, but we got there in the end. So Martin comes back. This is much better. Recruiters can concentrate on the best fit candidates. You know, nobody wants to be a recruiter. It's bloody hard work. You know, the demands on those people are high. So anything that can kind of reduce their workload or make their life easier or fast track them, I think is really, really useful. I know Martin's got a lot of experience in this area, so it would be nice to perhaps sit down, Martin, sometime, you and I in this, and play around with it, test it, kind of stress test it, so we can feed back to Michelle areas where we think it could be improved. But overall, no code I think is the way forward for many businesses. Juji is a great platform for building. If you want a Juji account, just go to Juji, get the link, juji.ai, sign up for an account. Michelle can confirm this in the comments, but I think you can just build away and not pay anything until you actually go and deploy it on a website or deploy it on Messenger. But then I think they're also doing a really cheap offer at the moment. So conversational designers and strategists and people can go in, have a play with it, and really kind of stress it themselves and ask questions and get a feel for it. That's the demo over. If you've got any questions or you want to sit down personally and have a demo with me, then just give me a shout. Thanks for sparing me some time on a Friday. Enjoy yourselves and watch out. I'll be advertising the next session on Monday. I won't tell you what it is now. I don't want to overwhelm you. But a week from now on Friday, we'll be doing another one, which I think is quite fascinating. Thanks, everyone. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have. If you've got any other questions, take care.